Most people never see it coming. They think more effort will fix it, but effort poured into the wrong direction just accelerates the failure. So there are 6 core problems, 6 plagues that infect training systems everywhere. They are not always loud, they don't always look like mistakes, but they kill progress, they confuse dogs, and they waste months or even years of potential. So in this video we're going to expose these plagues, break them down and make sure you never fall for them again. Because once you eliminate them from your training, everything changes. Plague number 1 is inconsistency. Nothing kills training faster than inconsistency. And it's not just about repeating the same command the same way, it goes far deeper. Dogs are masters of patterns. They don't just learn from what you say, but from how you act, how you move and how you feel. Every time you reward a behavior, delay a correction, change the rules, give a cue with a different tone or timing, you're reshaping the entire framework of communication. And when that framework keeps shifting, the dog starts to lose trust in the process. He doesn't know what works, what doesn't, what's expected. He guesses, he checks out. And then people say the dog is stubborn or distracted, when the truth is, the dog was confused. So real consistency isn't robotic repetition, it's a level of clarity that the dog can count on session after session, day after day. It's having rules and structures in training that don't bend based on your mood or the environment. It's not praising the dog for what you will scold tomorrow. And this is where most owners fail. Not because they don't care, but because they don't realize how quickly tiny contradictions add up. Consistency is the foundation of everything. If your dog can't trust the language you're building, he can't play the game with confidence. And without confidence, there's no flow, no rhythm, no joy in the work. So the second plague is working on the wrong stuff. As in dog training, one of the most dangerous traps is the one of looking busy without being effective. It's easy to get caught up in drills, reps, routines to chase that next level of obedience, polish the finishes, speed up the response times. And yes, all of that work matters. Precision, intensity, clean execution, they all have their place, but only when the dog is ready for it. The real plague is not working hard, it's working hard on the wrong layer. It's when owners or trainers skip the invisible groundwork that gives the visible training its power. People rush into obedience without first building value in the relationship. They focus on solving recall through reps and cues when the dog couldn't care less about being near them. They try to fix focus issues by tightening control when the real problem is a lack of engagement. And this doesn't just happen with beginners, it shows up even at the highest levels. For example, when a dog is lacking speed, the handler increases frustration to generate drive, when what the dog truly needs is a deeper love for the reward itself. Without it, you're just forcing a spark instead of building a flame. So working on obedience isn't wrong. What's wrong is using obedience to cover up a weak bond, a lack of clarity or emotional disinterest. Because if the dog doesn't care about the work or the handler, then no amount of mechanical drilling will create important results. You end up polishing a surface that's already cracked underneath. Smart training means identifying what's missing, not just doing more of what looks like progress. Now let's proceed with plague number 3, which is poor mechanics. So you can have a motivated dog, a strong bond and the right goals, but still sabotage everything through poor mechanics. Timing, leash handling, marker use, reward delivery, but most commonly movement. These are not small details. They are the language of training, and when they are off even slightly, the message gets scrambled. So a reward delivered seconds too late doesn't reinforce the behavior enough. A correction given without clarity doesn't guide, it creates stress. Every single rep, the dog is trying to decode what you mean. Therefore, if your technical skills are inconsistent, then the dog's understanding will be just as shaky. And most owners don't realize how often their body is lying to the dog. Hands moving too early, cues overlapping, eye contact turning into pressure, positioning that contradicts intent. You're trying to say one thing, but your mechanics are saying something else. And the dog listens to your mechanics, not your words nor your plan. It's in the leash tension, the posture, the movement. That's the grammar of the conversation. So if your grammar sucks, the dog might still try to cooperate, but you're both working uphill. And the tragedy is that many frustrated handlers are actually doing the right things conceptually, but failing in the execution. They never realize the dog is confused, not because he's disobedient, but because the communication is broken at the most practical level. Mastery in dog training is not just about knowing what to do, it's about being able to deliver it with precision. And that starts with sharpening your technical game until your body becomes a clear, reliable instrument of learning. Plague number 4 is about using the wrong approach, as progress collapses very fast when the method takes priority over the dog itself. This plague shows up when the trainers clinch to a fixed system, positive only or compulsion based routines for example, believing it's the one true path, regardless of the dog's needs. The method becomes a comfort zone and the dog is expected to adapt. But not every dog learns the same way. Some crave clarity and structure, others need space to think and create. Some get fired up by toys, others need food or calm reinforcement. When the approach doesn't match the dog's temperament, emotional state, or level of understanding, frustration builds on both ends of the leash. And instead of adjusting, many just double down. More pressure, more rewards, more reps. When what's really needed is a shift in how the information is delivered. This plague isn't about choosing the wrong method in theory, it's about applying any method without sensitivity. The real art of training is strategic adaptation, being able to shift gears without losing purpose. Adjust your energy, your timing, your structure, not based on personal preferences, but on the dog's actual responses. Using the wrong approach doesn't always look dramatic. It often feels like slow, constant drag, like the dog is working but never lighting up. And the longer you keep pushing a system that doesn't speak to the dog, the more you grind away at motivation and results. Plague number 5 is about bad motivation management. Many handlers talk about motivation like it's luck. He's just not food driven, he doesn't care about toys, he only works when he feels like it. But we have to pay close attention to the fact that motivation is not just a genetic gift. It's a system you can shape, amplify and weaponize if you understand how it works. This plague is not just about picking the wrong reward, it's about wasting the opportunity to deliberately craft a dog who's obsessed with the work itself. Every time you throw a treat without purpose, give a toy without structure, or train without intention, you're dulling the edge. Motivation can and should be manipulated, and there are 5 core levers to do that, which are deprivation, reward quality, dynamics, session length, and outside management. Most people ignore all 5. They feed before training, they use the same boring reward over and over, they train for too long, they don't control access to fun outside of the session, and they forget that rewards delivered without energy and contrast lose their value. Then they wonder why the dog loses interest, stops trying, or checks out. But here's the thing. If your dog doesn't want to win, doesn't feel a need to chase the outcome, you're always going to be pushing a dead weight. Great training feels light, fast, electric. That only happens when the dog is hungry for the process itself. So I've done a full video breakdown exactly on how to manipulate a dog's motivation using these 5 key factors. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out, because once you understand this system, everything changes and the training starts feeling like a shared obsession. The 6th and last plague of dog training is a lack of engagement. Engagement is not a trick. Engagement is not a behavior. Engagement is a state that makes all training possible. It's the combination of 2 foundational forces, a strong relationship and a dog who is genuinely motivated for what you have to offer. When those 2 elements align, engagement is what naturally emerges. It's not just the dog paying attention, it's the dog invested, present, eager, responsive, and emotionally connected. Engagement is the proof that the groundwork has been done right. As if the relationship is weak, the dog doesn't care about you. If the motivation is low, he doesn't care about the work. In either cases, you can't teach anything that truly sticks. You can still force reps, you can still condition responses, but they will be hollow, easily broken, slow to progress, empty of enthusiasm. That's why this plague is so deadly. It convinces people that if the dog is technically doing the exercise, everything is fine. But the absence of real engagement means the whole system is fragile. It means your training has no heart. Engagement is the outcome of everything you should build first, like connection, clarity, and value. It's the dog saying, "I'm here, I want this, let's go." Without that, you're not teaching effectively. And no matter how sharp your technique is, if the dog isn't truly with you, you're never going to unlock his full potential. Engagement isn't the cherry on top, it's the sign that your foundation is alive. These are the 6 plagues of dog training, the silent killers of all progress. So make sure to identify them as soon as possible, and if you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to subscribe so that I can catch you in the next one.